Hello there and welcome to my Formula 1 2019 career mode. We are here for the Hungarian Grand Prix and I am kind of throwing you into the mix already because I am now going back into the garage. As you can see, the mechanics from Ferrari are taking me and my car into the garage to end this session. And yeah, the pace overall was looking good, and as we now see the final results of practice.
With all the cars now over the line, let's see our top three again. Roberts, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. And if today's practice is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula One.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You put in a lot of time on the track today. Was there a reason for this? You had the fastest time in practice. Will we see similar times in qualifying? Great. Well, that's everything.
And that was the interview with Claire. She interviews us after practice session and also after the races or qualifying session sometimes. And we head now into qualifying. Take it away.
Good afternoon, race fans, and here we are again for qualifying at the Hungaroring. Who will have tuned the perfect setup for their car? We'll find out soon. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
And those were the commentators, David Croft and Anthony Davidson. I was looking here to the left to see if my teammate would head out, and he did. And for the final couple of minutes of qualifying, it actually was raining. So we head out right now, right behind our teammate. And as you can see on the top left, we are quickest at the moment with our teammate second and Lewis Hamilton in third place. We head out now the pits, a little bit of wheel spin just to warm up the tires. As you can see the temperatures there, a lot of numbers, so I can get if you don't get that. As we now come on further on the warm-up lap, I was deciding to leave everyone by so that I would be the last one to set a time to make sure that I would be the quickest. As I move out of the way, also Valtteri Bottas passing us there and Max Verstappen now as Renault in my career. As we now cut onto our flying lap, and it was a pretty good one in the rain. Approaching turn 1, hard braking, making sure that I do not lose the car. But I was losing it a little bit on traction, I was losing time there, but at the end of sector 2 you can see that down on my fastest time, as now I've actually found a lot of time in sector 2, and now with 700, almost a 10th improvement, I go fastest in the second sector. And now it's my teammate second and Weber in third in the Toro Rosso. That's a pretty impressive result for him. As now Hamilton goes third, we go through now the final corner, just making sure, putting down the throttle very slowly, and giving it a lot of power, and it's an improvement of 2/10, and we will take pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. That's a great result for our team.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Roberts, Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
And I'm pretty sure the team will be happy with that front row start. And now David Croft and Anthony Davidson take it away for the commentary for the race.
It's always wonderful to come back to the lively Hungaroring. A popular destination this, nice and close to the beautiful city of Budapest, with some exciting racing to boot. Who can forget Michael Schumacher pushing his old teammate Rubens Barrichello up towards the pit wall in 2010, or those great races of 2014 and 2015 as well. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. With me to enjoy it all is Anthony Davidson, a man who made his Grand Prix debut here with Minardi back in 2002. So Ant, this is a bit of a special one for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'd say so. I also stood in to commentate on Jensen's win in 2006, and as I was a test driver for Honda at the time, you can imagine that was quite an emotional Grand Prix. It's also a tough circuit on the drivers, this one too. Lots of long, slow corners that require a lot of patience from inside the car. Plus, it's a very downforce heavy circuit. I mean, it's all relative of course, but if you're lacking a bit in downforce, or if you've got a bit of an imbalance in the setup, this is definitely one of the worst places to have to deal with that.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Roberts lines up on pole position. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Weber, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, Bottas, Albon, Kubica and Lando Norris, Gasly, Perez, Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Hülkenberg, Russell, Butler, Kevin Magnussen and Roman Grosjean. Raikkonen and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, the run into turn 1 isn't too long, so the pack will be bunched up. Take care.
As we hear those always nice words from Jeff right before the start of the race, just to be careful into turn 1, it is predicted that I will probably have a worse start than the others around me, so I will probably buck down, and I don't know by how much. The AI usually get very good starts. Those are my opponents. I am now just adjusting a little bit of the setup, adjusting the strategy. I will do a one stop, which means we have to go at least into the pits once to change tire compound, and I hope that will give us a great advantage in the race, because we will have the two hardest compounds. We will have less grip, but at least we will have good consistent pace. So we now start the formation lap to warm up the tires. As you can see, they are very cold at the moment, so just a bit weaving to get a bit of temperature and get a lot of grip into the tires.
So don't go too high with the revs.
As we now cut on to the end of the formation lap, we will all be lining up and prepare for the start of the race. The tires and brakes are very warmed up at the moment, so hope we can have a good start compared to the rest.
Start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
As Jeff says, we just have to prepare for the start and hold in the clutch pedal to basically start the race. As we now start up, the lights are on, 5 lights are on, and it slides out and away we go. It's a good start for Carlos Sainz and all the cars behind me. They are mugging me off the start. We go down to P4. It's Charles Leclerc giving us a bit of a bump on the left there. It's Lucas Weber down the inside of Lewis Hamilton. We get a warning for that collision, immediately checking if I have damage at the moment, and now just settling in for P4. It was a pretty okay start for on the medium tires, but now I know I just don't have a lot of grip as Max Verstappen tries to go around the outside, but we force him wide, and just now settling in P4 because now we just can't make any moves. We just have to defend our track position because I can't keep up with the guys that are on soft tires right now, the red compound tire. But later on in the race we probably and can, because their tires will be worn out a lot, and yeah, I just hope to make a lot of places up again. But now it's my teammate walking away from this race, as he already is in the last corner while we are just trying to enter it behind Lewis Hamilton. And now he sets the fastest lap of the race for now, which is pretty logic, being the first one to cross the line. On the first lap, as we defend from Max Verstappen, he has a little look around the outside,
Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
as we get a message from Jeff that our engine is pretty worn out. And yes, it actually was, and now Carlos Sainz is still walking away with this race at the moment, as DRS gets enabled. And you might have heard the explanation of Jeff. The rear wing flap we can open if we are within 1 second of the car ahead in the DRS zones. As we now just still settling in and got on all the way to lap 6, right behind Lewis Hamilton. His tires are just worn out at this point, and we go on full power rich mix and overtake mode. We fake to the left, go to the right, down the inside we go, and that was a great move, if I say so myself. Faking it out, and yeah, pretty logical that we overtook him, because we just have now the better tire to be on lap 7 of this race, as we now can start chasing down our teammate for the lead and hopefully the win within still a lot of laps to go. As we said, a personal best actually in the second sector, and our teammate pits, and he actually did something very surprising as we go through the final corner to just push on. He went onto hard tires, and if my calculations are right, he has to do 26 laps on just one compound tire. That would be very, very impressive if he can pull that off. And now it's Lando Norris in second place, me in the lead, Sebastian Vettel on softs in third place, as we now just start to save a little bit of fuel, a little bit of ERS to just push a little bit later on, because my tires, they will hold on to at least lap 16. That is when we will pit. And yeah, for me it was a bit surprising. A lot of people did go for a one stop from softs to hards, but around this track it is really hard to do that, because you can just lose so much time if your tires are worn out. As now we set a personal best, as we get a message from Jeff that we will be boxing two laps later, so onto lap 16 for the hards. As we now head onto lap 16. This was a pretty good in-lap actually for me on worn tires. And at the end of the first sector we set a personal best, not by much though, but it is a personal best, it is an improvement. As we now go through the last couple of corners of sector 2, and we actually set a purple sector, and we are up by actually a lot of time. And this actually was surprising, the pace on these old tires, as we now will follow the blue line into the pits to change the tires. We will bog down eventually, but as we get it slowed down for 80 kilometers per hour, That's the pit limit. We can't drive faster than that, and it's a pretty quick stop from the boys. As we head out once again, we will bog down all the way to, we will see that in a second, all the way to P6, but our teammate is very close to me as Nico Hulkenberg locks up. He's on the outside, but we keep that position as he is on all tires and still has to pit, so we don't really have to race him. But this was surprising to me. I've gained so much time on my teammate, or my teammate has lost a lot of time on me, as we are now trying to chase him down as he is stuck behind my old F2 rival Devon Butler. Him and me, we do not like each other, so if I need to get past him, he will probably just force me or bump me off the track as he did in Formula 2. But now we have DRS, but we are not as close to my teammate as my teammate is to Devon Butler. He goes to the inside. Devon Butler moves to the outside to maybe get a better exit, but he's on all the tires and my teammate still has DRS as he goes around the outside now, cuts in front and sets in for the lead of the race, as now we are stuck behind Devon Butler. And you can see here in this corner we gain so much time because we have so much more grip, but he's just not letting us through, even though we are way quicker in a way quicker car. We are in a way quicker on way quicker tires, but he forces us wide as he goes defensive, and now Nico Hulkenberg tries to go around the outside. Devon Butler really holding us up there as he goes into the pits this lap, so it was actually not needed to fight me, but I don't know why he still did it. Maybe there's just no love lost between him and me. As we now are on lap 19, we set a personal best in the first sector and we are chasing down our teammate for the lead, as I really wanted to win this race ahead of my teammate to get a bit of a buffer for the next couple of races, because I'm going to take a grid penalty because I need to change my engine for next weekend, and maybe I'll explain that maybe in another video on my YouTube channel. But now we set a purple second sector. We are gaining on our teammate. As we now go through the final corner, we apply full power, we apply DRS, as we set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.598, and that is a pretty good lap from me, to be honest. As I now was thinking, maybe I just should settle in for P2 for now and just attack at the end of the race, because now my teammates' tires, they are older than mine, but they are not that older that I will be so much quicker or quick enough to pass him. So it would be pretty handy if I just stay behind for now, save ERS, save fuel. As you can see on the bottom right of your screen, you see fuel mix with plus 0.28. that is, if we would finish the race now, we would have 0.30 now laps worth extra of fuel to drive back into the pits, basically. So we now just save fuel, settle in behind, use DRS, use my teammate to drag us along on the straights to give us a bit of slipstream. But yeah, as you can see also on the bottom right, you see a yellow bar. That is my ERS deployment. It's a electrical system that when a Formula 1 driver brakes, it charges the battery, and if we apply it, so now it is in none at the moment, so I don't apply a lot, as I put it now in medium deployment, that is average power. We drain the battery a little bit, and you want to manage that over the course of a race by not using too much but also not saving too much, because if you save too much you lose a lot of time. And now I was just settling behind my teammate at this point to just save that and attack at the end of the race, because then that is the moment where my teammate will have a lot of struggles on his tires, because has to do 26 laps because he pitted on lap 8 onto lap 9, I believe. So we now enter the penultimate corner, still in the lowest engine mode, as we turn it up a little bit just to stay with him. Actually, we lost DRS this lap, so I needed to get back in it so he can still drag me along. And as we head now onto lap 23, we are very close to my teammate now, as we still are gaining, but at this point I was actually realizing that I was inside the dirty air and might be actually stuck behind my teammate, because it's something these cars have. It's through the corners. On the straights it's okay, because then it's called slipstream and you can gain a lot, but through the corners there's actually a lot of heat coming from the car in front if you are within 2 seconds, and that means your engine and your tires will start to overheat. And even though we set a purple first sector and we are gaining a lot, I was just losing so much through every corner, because my tires are starting to overheat, and as we have a massive lockup, talking is hard, on the front right tire, as we completely lock that one up, so the temperatures in the tire won't like that a lot, as we actually lose 0.2 of a second in only one sector. That's how much time I lose behind another car. It's just hard to follow in a Formula 1 car, just because there's so much dirty air basically that comes off the car ahead to really follow that well. And actually I drained my battery a lot, as you can see. It's just 54% as I'm still charging it, and the fuel also isn't looking that good, and I was thinking maybe I should slow down, save a bit of fuel, but as you can see there is a yellow flag on the minimap on the bottom left, and it's Romain Grosjean out of the race, and the virtual safety car gets deployed, and that means we have to do a certain lap time, around 40% I think, slower than the average actual race pace, so we have to slow down. It's actually a great opportunity to save tires, save fuel, save VRS, but my teammate will do also, of course, because why wouldn't he? So he can, of course, will save his tires as much as he can to hold on to this position. But yeah, we basically have to slow down, we can't overtake, because then we will get a penalty. As you can see, a couple of times I just go that bit too quick, but I want to gain as much time as possible on my teammate during this safety car, as will be ending right now. We go through the penultimate corner, pushing a little bit, but we don't go too quick, and now we can go back to normal racing speed on lap 27, as we still are within DRS range of our teammate, and just need to reel him in at the end of this race, because his tires must feel horrendous. They must absolutely feel horrible at the end of this race. He will not have a lot of grip, as we are now very, very close to him, but also feeling the dirty air once again, just finding the different lines, trying to put on the pressure, as Lucas Weber actually sets the fastest lap, a 1:17.547, as now you can see how worn out my engine actually is. So that just puts me at the exit of every corner every time I put down the throttle pedal. I will just not get as much power from the engine as I would like, because it's just a worn engine. It's just a very old one because I had it in for a lot of races and weekends. As now we head through the final corner, I really wanted to push on this lap. As you can see, there is another yellow flag on the minimap. It's a Toro Rosso, and it's actually Alexander Albon, now out of the session, probably due to a mechanical or an engine failure. But there is no virtual safety car or a safety car seen yet, so that's great. As now I was just starting to push. I wanted to make the move this lap. It's now 31 out of the 35 laps, so I needed to make a move. And even though it was risky, maybe we both get damage, but that won't matter us too much, as the gap behind to Lando Norris is actually okay. As we set a purple second sector, we get right up the tail of our teammate. As I just I'm really greedy to win this race. I really want to win this. So we now head through the final corner, just prepare for a good exit, and this is the closest we've ever been to our teammate. We put in overtake mode, we put on risk mix, we have DRS, we are gaining right now as we go down the inside from a long way back. There was a little bit of contact there, but we take the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and that was a great move for myself. It was a little bit risky because there was a bit of contact. I do not know if my teammate has damage at this point in time. We will see it on the replay next. But now I was just thinking, alright, save fuel, save ERS for the fastest lap at the end of the race, and just push on, because my teammate's tires, they're just gone. As we now see the replay, we come from a long way back, and we actually do hit our teammate and knock off a little bit of his front wing. As we now head on to the final lap of this race, and I needed to set the fastest lap as well to get the maximum points for Ferrari, our team we are driving for, the Italian team. And I really wanted to impress this race because I am in the title fight with Lewis Hamilton at the moment, and he is not having the best car lately, and it's now more a fight between Ferrari, McLaren and Renault, because Mercedes had a great start at the beginning of the season. And however, we set a purple second sector as we go through the penultimate corner onto the last corner, and yeah, just a really great moment, because we now get on to the start finish straight. We win the Hungarian Grand Prix. What an amazing result is that. A 1-2 finish with the fastest lap as well, just at the end. What a great result.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Roberts increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Ferrari continue to extend the gap at the top of the table. Well, Ants, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
And well, that was the race. Here are the highlights. Overall, I just hoped you enjoyed the video, and Well, this has nothing to do with the English project, which this video originally was for, but this also goes out onto my YouTube channel, and yeah, I just hope you enjoyed it. And just to the viewers on my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, you know, do all that stuff if you just only enjoyed it and want to see more. Goodbye.